Red pill guys have this kind of revenge fantasy where it's like, oh, you won't date me now in your 20s, but in your 30s, just you wait. And it's like, okay, women in their 30s are doing fine. Women are much less likely, statistically, to be single in their 30s versus their 20s.
Hello YouTube, it's your boy, the Passport Bro Wingman, coming at you again with another YouTube video. And the title of this video is called, Are Passport Bros Living Vengeance Fantasies? Do American Women Have the Last Laugh? And the way this video came about was I was watching another content creator. His name is Bountyville, and he covers a lot of Passport Bros videos as well as a little bit of some red pill content as well. And the clip I showed you at the beginning of this video is there's a guy named Mackin Murphy. And so anyway, in the clip, as you notice, he tries to do a statistic in which he tries to say that he says that a lot of red pill guys, you know, we have this fantasy that we're going to mock women in their 20s and say, watch out, watch out, because when you get in your 30s, you're going to have trouble or you're going to end up unmarried and all this stuff like that. And then he goes on to say that pretty much is a fantasy because based on what he's trying to say is that women in their 30s, they're more likely to get married in their 30s than they are in their 20s. So pretty much trying to insinuate that red pill content creators are pretty much living in a fantasy world, and pretty much in the real world, women can date all the way past their 30s and in their late 40s and that kind of thing. Now, just to give you a little bit of background on this guy, I looked at some of his other videos, and I had to say it, but this guy is pretty much a simp for the most part. He's pretty much in my opinion, a Steve Harvey with statistical data that he's pretty much manipulated to make it seem that as if a lot of times the speech that these red pill content creators are talking about is just their own evil delusions, pretty much for the most part. So what I want to do in this video is I want to break down his talking points. I want to speak to what he just shared with you. And I want to show you how it's a little bit, what's the word? It's a bit of a tilt to what he's saying. And in my personal opinion, the only reason he's doing this, he's doing the same thing that Derek Jackson is doing, in which he's trying to cater to women. He's trying to cater to them, build that female audience, and make money off doing it. The way he wants to do it is he wants to be anti-red pill as a way to build his channel. And I just can't with all these male simps. I just can't do it. I'm just so tired of all these men voting against their own interests, just finding all types of ways to always make it seem as if it's the man's fault if they're pretty much trying to say that the data market is the way it is because of the men. I'm just so tired of these men like floating. And in many cases, in my opinion, they're worse than some of the women, because the women who speak out against the red pill content creators, I can kind of understand why they're doing it. It's because, you know, it's in their favor to keep things the way they are. You know, in many cases, you know, you will look at certain, you know, a lot of times when you look at the data market, you know, anybody with their eyes open can literally see that it's pretty much a mess. Now, in spite of that, there are people who do benefit from it being the way it is. And a lot of times, as you can see, it's a lot of the women who are doing like these, you know, dinner dash dates in which they get dinner and then they dash and leave the guy with pretty much with the bill. And it was one woman on TikTok that pretty much said that she can have like 5 different guys. One guy helping her with her groceries into her apartment. You know, she has another guy to, you know, help her move into her new apartment. Then she has a guy she makes love to, you know, and so on and so on. So they're really benefiting from the market being the way it is. But a lot of guys, we're not really benefiting from it, you know. But unfortunately, you got some guys who just really want to stay on a plantation. And this guy, he's really an advocate for the plantation bros. And although he did not directly call out Passport Bros in his video, the reason I wanted to take up this video is because in many cases, the red pill is, put it this way, I wouldn't say that I'm a red pill guy because I still want to have relationships and so forth. I would say I'm kind of a purplish, because I guess it would be between a blue and a red if you want to talk about pills or whatever. But here, the only reason I brought it up is because of this, because as you know, a lot of times we try to tell guys to that, we try to tell them about, the negative portions of the market with the United States. And we try to encourage guys to go out and travel, expand your options, and that kind of thing. And this guy kind of tries to flip it. And there even was a debate he was doing with this guy named Richard Cooper, who's like a red pill content creator. And he pretty much, the debate was about, do men age like wine? And of course, this guy being a simp, he's trying to turn it around. And he was saying all kinds, like, in another video he has, he's trying to say that men who date women with an age gap, that is, he pretty much tried to make it a negative thing and tried to say that a lot of times the women are only married, for the most part, that these women are gonna wind up cheating on these men. And he just had a whole lot of negative stuff to say. And if you search him on YouTube, you'll see he has nothing but negative things to say about men, especially men who have a red pill mentality. He has nothing to say about them but negative things. So I kind of rambled on a lot about him, but it's just I don't know, it just kind of annoyed me a bit that we still have men who think like this. Like, it makes no sense. So let me get into this real quick. So first of all, let me say this. Here's the first thing. So basically what he's trying to say is that a woman in her 30s is more likely to get married than a woman in her 20s. Well, here's the thing about that. What starts to happen once a woman hits about almost 30? Her biological clock is ticking. It's knocking on her door. She wants to have children. So what does she do? She then looks and says, "Who can I settle down with?" And generally, this is what Passport Bros have been saying. We were saying a lot of times what she does is, let me find a cleanup bro and let me settle down with him. Notice I said the word settle. So yeah, she can find, because about the boys Watkins, he was simping for this woman since his childhood, and this woman has like 2 kids, and he went ahead and married her. And I'm shaking my head because this dude is well known. From what I've seen, he makes a decent amount of pay. There are single women across the globe outside of the United States that would love to settle down with this man, and they'll look, not only will they not have any children, they'll look much better than the woman he settled down with, which is why I'm shaking my head. But here's the thing. But here's the thing though, that I've come to understand. You can't save everybody. There's some people who are so far gone in this delusion, so far gone in this mentality about staying on a plantation. It's like there's no talking to these guys. They're just so far gone. So unfortunately, there are going to be some simps who stick around, and when a woman hits 30, she's like, "Oh, I never been married. I need to get married. Who can I marry?" She's going to look and find some simp. She's going to settle down with him, have the kids. But here's the thing he didn't tell you in that statistic, because he pretty much just telling women, don't worry about it. You'll be fine. In your 30s, you can go ahead and get married. As we know from the statistics, marriage is initiated by the woman 80% of the time. And if she is college educated, it is 90%. What does that tell you? Even though they're getting married, they are unhappy with the men they settled down with. A lot of them settled. That's what that means. So yes, sir, they are getting married, but that does not mean they're marrying the guy of their choice. They're settling down because they know they have to have kids and their time has run out. That is what the red pill content creators, and a lot of times with Passport Bros, when we're talking, when we kind of do bring up the American women, and a few times we do, that's what we're trying to explain to them. Is when you pass over all these good men, okay, then when you get 30, your choices are going to be left to Pooky and Ray and the boys Watkins out there. That's going to be your choice. So yeah, you did settle down. So he said it as if they're going to have the last laugh, because they're going to say, "Oh, you guys told me I wasn't going to get married, but look at me. I'm in my 30s. I'm in my early 40s. I got married." Yeah, but who did you get married to? It wasn't your first choice, because when you look at the stats, a lot of these women, they're not happy with who they married with. Look at that's just the case. And as I was doing more research on this, there actually was an article talking about I guess back in I think it was 1986, Harvard did a study in which they were trying to say if a woman was over 30 years old, she only had about like a 20% chance of getting married. If she was over 35, it went down to about like 3%. And then it said after that it was like 2%. And then a study came back in 2006, and I'll show you the study. And it said that I guess another group went back and they reviewed the study, and they found out that the women in those, I guess in the study, later on, a lot of them had wound up getting married like in their 30s and 40s. And the article goes on to try to tell women that it's never too late to find your Prince Charming. There's a lot of new women now getting married in their 40s and, in their late 30s and that kind of thing. And I think there was a statistic trying to say that a lot of women now get married at like 35 and that kind of thing. And all this is doing is just encouraging the wrong type of behavior. What we're trying to do in this manosphere space, we're trying to keep women from making poor decisions in their. We're trying to keep them from making poor decisions so that they can find the man of their dreams, so that they can settle down, have a beautiful family, and have a loving, long-lasting marriage. This is why I posted at the beginning of this video. You see the picture of Samuel L. Jackson. He's been married to his wife for like the past 50 years, and they're still going. They're still going strong. So the difference is this. You listen to this guy, you keep listening to this guy, Mackin Murphy, and you're going to be just like Tia Mowry. You see now that she's listened to this. She listened to this guy. They're making her think she has unlimited options. And so then what does she do? When she gets about in her late 30s, early 40s, she gets bored with her marriage. Oh, I don't really like this guy. This is just somebody I had to settle down with, and so forth. Even though everyone's telling her like, hey, this is a decent dude. You need to stay with him. Don't leave. But because of guys like Mackin Murphy and blowing up her head, what does Tia do? She leaves her marriage because she's looking at all the women on TikTok thirst trapping and that kind of thing. So she leaves her marriage. She's out there searching around, and what she find out? There's nothing out there for her because most men are not looking for women over. Put it this way, most men of substance who have money, who have something going for them, they're not looking for women over 40. That's what she found out. Yes, she found out there's Pooky and Ray out there. Yes, she found out there's a Boyce walking out there. Yes, she found out there's some guys on her IG page saying, hey, I love you, I want to marry you. But these are guys who are, and I'm not trying to down anybody, but guys who are working at the gas station, don't have anything really going for them. Maybe they're not that attractive. They're, that kind of thing. These are the guys who, yeah, they will settle down with her. But as you notice, she didn't want to settle down with them. She thought she can do better than Corey, even though he's a successful guy. He, most women, I would say he's handsome. He has a lot going for him. Because she got bored, she left. Because Mackin Murphy and all these other, feminists out there are telling her that, it's empowering to be independent. You don't need no man. You don't need him. In a sense, almost like Corey should be lucky that she married him. But now she's finding out, as I talked about in one of my last videos, she finding out, no, actually, you would be lucky to be with Corey because he has a lot going on. And to get the caliber man that Corey is very, very small. It's only a small percentage of men who make over $100K a year. And on top of that, when you consider things like attractiveness and height and all the other things that women are looking for, Corey starts to seem almost like a unicorn. And you were lucky and blessed to find a man like that. And you threw that all away because you're listening to Mackin Murphy and some of these other people out here who's filling your mind with delusion. So, and let me show you this. There's this other article I wanted to show you as well. And actually, I'll share a little bit of this because I know I've been going on for a while and I don't want to keep this going too long. But look at this article here. There's an article by mom.com that says 4 reasons I admire women with multiple baby daddies. So this goes into that study that, back to what Mackin Murphy was saying. So here's the other thing that, him and all these other simps are encouraging women to do, while we the men are trying to, what Kevin Samuels was trying to do was he was trying to help women avoid a lot of the headache that they're going to face once they start creeping into their late 30s and late 40s. Because here's the thing. With him telling women, wait until you're 30. It's okay to wait till you're 40. What are they doing in their 20s and 30s then? They're sleeping around with multiple men. A lot of them are going to do what? Wind up with multiple baby daddies. Most men of substance not only are not, then a lot of them not looking for women with a child. I didn't say even children with a child, but they're especially not looking for women who have multiple children by multiple baby daddies. And by you encouraging these women not to preserve themselves, and once they find a decent guy, settle down with them and not rack up a high body count. But by you encouraging them to do this behavior, a lot of them are going to wind up being baby mamas. They're going to be baby mamas, have several different baby daddies, and a lot of men are not going to want to marry these women, so they're going to wind up being unmarried. So in many cases, by you encouraging this type of behavior, there's a few fates that are going to happen. Maybe one, she gets they get lucky, or maybe they listen to a lot of the content on the internet coming from a lot of the knowledge that Kevin Samuels was sharing. Maybe they listen to that, they turn their lives around, they meet a decent guy, they settle down, and they don't have any issues. That's fate number one. Fate number two is they listen to Mackin Murphy and these other people. They push off marriage for a while. They're going around sleeping around. They end up being a baby mama, maybe having multiple baby daddies, and then maybe, who knows, in their 30, maybe they might find a simp like Boyce Watkins or somebody like that, and then they'll marry them and then settle down with them or something like that. That could possibly happen. But then again, when they do settle down, do you think they're going to be happy with a Boyce Watkins? They're not going to be happy with Boyce Watkins. This is something they had to do because they had no choice, which makes me wonder what happens when the kids get 18 years old. The kids are 18 years old now. Does she need Boyce Watkins anymore? She don't need him anymore. More than likely, she's going to start doing the Tia Mowry thing now. Let me see where the other guys are at, trying to leave him. So that's another fate. And what's the third fate and the most likely fate for a lot of people, seeing that the divorce rate is about 45%? Probably going to end up being a divorcee. Waited to their 30, all the men of substance that they were wanted, those men are already settled down, or they became passport bros, they went somewhere else. So what happens to that woman? Now she marries some guy that she wants to settle down with, and she settles down with him because she doesn't want the stigma of being either a single mom or the stigma of being a woman who's never been married. So she just settles down with some guy, only to wind up either divorcing him later. The average marriage is only about 6 or 7 years. So 6 or 7 years later, she's divorcing him because she's unhappy with him, because he's not the type of guy that she usually would date. So that's what winds up happening. So at the end of the day, let me put it to you this way. On one hand, put it this way, it is not the objective of passport bros, and in many cases, not even the red pill content. It is not our objective to try to change these women. That's not what we're doing. We're not changing anybody. We're talking to other men, and we're telling them the red flags to avoid. Now, women listen in, and Mackin Murphy and these other simps and plantation bros, they listen in, and then they critique what we're saying, and they think we're talking to these women and telling them, hey, don't do this, because if you don't, this guy won't marry you, or you won't do this. No, we're not telling them that at all. Now, you did have Kevin Samuels who did try to talk some sense into them. So, and you did have occasionally, a Fresher Fit, the girls come on air, he tries to talk some sense into them. But in many cases, I really just feel like they know that they're not going to change. I think it's just more to have a dialogue, and hopefully some women change. But they know, and I know that most of them are not going to change. As I said before, you're not going to save everybody. But at the end of the day, this is how I feel like a lot of us feel. I can't speak for everybody, but a lot of passport bros feel, and probably some red pill content creators as well. This is how we feel. You can do whatever you want to do. You can do whatever you want to do. If you want to listen to a Mackin Murphy, and you want to call passport bros crazy for us, going overseas to find love. If you want to believe that we're the problem, if you want to feel that the real pill content creators, that they don't know what they're talking about, this is just them walking in their own delusions, that you can do whatever you want to do. You can do whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, when you end up either a divorcee, a baby mother, or a baby mother with several baby fathers, or you end up playing musical chairs without a chair, and you wind up without a husband, that's on you. You had every single you had so many videos, so many content creators talking about this bad behavior and where it's going to end up. And my problem is this with the women and Mackin Murphy who are promoting this doctrine and this way of thinking. For example, there's a woman who is a feminist. She was over 55 years old. She was talking about how she can't wait till she dies alone, and she doesn't mind sleeping with men in their early 20s and that kind of thing. So here's my thing with her. Yes, ma'am, you can do that because you have books that have sold probably tens of thousands. You're making so much money. You got your own little YouTube channel and that kind of stuff. So you can afford to be a single mom. But what about all these other women out here? They said the average person couldn't survive a $500 accident. Most of these women in this country, they're going to have to get married if they want to survive. If they want to have a family. And even most people, when they get married in the United States, they have to work. The women are going to you need 2 salaries to survive. So here's the problem. You are dooming a lot of these women because they're going to need another salary or another guy looking after them. But by you teaching them behavior that is unattractive to men, you are putting them in a very dire situations. As we already know, in the black community, I think only about 1 in 4 black women are getting married, and marriage has been on a decline for the past 50 years. It's declined by 60%. So, I mean, did Mackin Murphy bring that up, that marriage has been on the decline? So, yeah, why women are getting more women are getting married in their 30s and their 20s, but marriage is on the decline. A lot of guys are just shacking up now. They're not even getting married. You have guys completely who want to be lifelong bachelors. So what my issue is that you're dooming a lot of the younger women. Instead of encouraging women to say, hey, don't make the same mistakes I made, do better. When you find a nice guy, settle down with him, have a family. Don't end up being a woman with multiple baby daddies, and instead of telling the youth that, instead you have these articles like 4 Reasons I Admire a Women with Multiple Baby Daddies. And I'm going to end with this, and I'm going to show this last disgusting talking point they put up, and then I'm going to end this video. Look at number 4. Look at number 3. What it said. The number 3 reason that this woman is proud of women who have multiple baby daddies. Look what it says. She's healthy. Women like Annegret Ronig, the 65-year-old German woman with 13 children, who was 5 months pregnant with quadruplets, continues to have children because she is healthy enough to do so. She's been married 5 times, and she is not swayed by the negativity from others who believe she is too old to conceive. Did you hear that? She was married 5 times. And this site is trying to make that like this is a win and trying to make her feel empowered to do this. This is just terrible. I'm going to end at that. If you want to read this article, go ahead. It just gets worse and worse. And on that note, you guys tell me what you think in the comment section about all this. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the notification bell. Let me know what you think in the comments. And until next time, this is your boy, the Passport Bro Wingman, signing off.
Dear Passport Boys, dear Passport Bros, stop calling yourself Passport Boys and Passport Bros. Are you going to the Philippines to look for a Filipina queen or what? So stop calling yourself Passport Boys and Passport Bros. Start calling yourself Passport Kings.